All right. Well, I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I've been on the roll lately. It's funny. I want to do 2 videos per day. I think for the last couple of days now, I've been doing multiple videos per day because stuff keeps coming out. But I want to share this with you guys, right? I want to share this with y'all right quick. Everybody remembers when Phil Jackson was, what was he, like general manager for the Lakers, or not the Lakers, for the Knicks. Everybody remember that, right? Some reason, I must be getting old. I thought that was like earlier in last decade, but no, that happened midway, exactly almost 10 years ago. So, I want to read this to you guys right quick. So, a couple years ago, probably might have been, almost 10 years. Well, it's going to be 10 years to the date. So, I guess this interview happened around early November 2016. And the interview was with ESPN's Jackie McMullen, I think that's how you pronounce her name, right? She was asking, I guess the interview was about Jackson and his I wouldn't say his new job, but his job with the Knicks so far. She was asking him questions about how things were going. So I'll read this right here. So she asks, Jackie McMullen asks Phil this. You have been under a siege since you've been taking over the Knicks, which has been different for you. And your coaching travels, you've been all but untouchable. True. How have you handled the adversity? Phil Jackson responds, I knew the parameters of what would go on from years of playing in the series against the Knicks. I remember all the barbs. It's a process of sticking to my beliefs and being able to say whatever. This is what I was hired to do. I'm going to follow the plan, and if it doesn't work out, it will be evident. And then she asks this question. You have an opt-out clause in your contract after this season. Do you plan to exercise it? Phil Jackson responds, I have not entertained that. I'm looking for the Knicks team to get back into a situation where they are competitive. Do I have to win the championship before I feel I've done the job I've been asked to do, which is to bring this group back to competitive level? No, I don't. We're starting to make progress. I like a lot of things that have been going on, but we got more to do. Then she asks him about Carmelo Anthony. I think Carmelo Anthony was on the team still. I think it might have been his last year with the Knicks. Phil Jackson responds like this. Carmelo likes communication. He likes a relationship. I was with a number of players who were fine with a player-coach relationship, which involves support. How are you feeling? That kind of stuff. Shaq, Kobe, that's all they wanted or needed. They were busy. I was never the guy who said, let's go out to dinner. But with Melo, I do that. Not as much as I like, but we do it because he likes that part of it. Reporter asks, what do you like to talk about? Phil answers this question. Phil says, I do like his activism, his willingness to be an activist. I communicated with him on how to couch activism. My feeling is it can be abrasive and not done right, but it has to be somewhat abrasive if it's going to be activism. In some ways, it has become vogue to be an activist. That is true. I told Carmelo about how Snoop Dogg, who I know is from LA, approached in his community. He went to the police graduation in LA and spoke to the cadets, which is where the rubber meets the road in our lives. It's not just simply about color and race. It's about the atmosphere in the community. I feel Carmelo could have a reasonable voice in that way. I'm not here to lead him down the road. I'm just here to ask some suggestions. So, I guess Phil and Carmelo didn't have a terrible relationship. It wasn't a bad relationship. Let's move on. I know some people I wouldn't say necessarily Phil Jackson can rub people off the wrong way. I think he had a decent relationship with Kobe, Mike. I don't know about Shaq so much, and I don't even know about Pippen, because Pippen called Phil Jackson racist not too long ago. But do we really believe anything that comes out of Scottie Pippen's mouth now? That man has been wrecked by that freaking Jezebel of a former wife of his. So I don't know if his mind's even in the right place when he said that. But moving on. Then the reporter asks him which team impresses him. And he says Golden State plays a game in which people move the ball, they move themselves, they are creating passing lanes, they're getting penetrations, they hit the open man, they set picks. They get a little wild, but Steve Kerr does a really fine job of keeping everyone in their lane, so to speak. He's a really fine coach with a great command of the game. I feel for basketball, it's so important. Well, of course he's going to say good things about his former player. I don't think Steve Kerr is that good of a coach. I think he just got lucky. He hit the jackpot. Because he was a good coach. He would freaking curtail whatever Draymond Green was doing. And play Kuminga. But let's move on. Phil Jackson goes on to say also, Cleveland has really gotten better about playing together as a team. They have shown much more resilience defensively and taking responsibility on the defensive end. The ball still gets stuck. We know why. Not everyone has a purpose. Like every LeBron James led team. They have a role, but they might not feel like they're involved. And I like to see all 5 players being involved with the game. Well, shoot. Well, damn it. Nothing has changed on the LeBron led teams, haven't they? This is 10 years ago. And it's still the same. Moving on. San Antonio continues to do what they can do best, running their system, which incorporates a lot of things. I believe in things. Pop and High have struggled with each other for a few years now. I think this is post Tim Duncan. Post Tim Duncan, LaMarcus Aldridge is probably on the team along with Kawhi. By this time it's Kawhi's team. I think Mono and Tony Parker are still on the team. I think at this point. And San Antonio around this time was still competitive. I think they went to the conference finals that year, I think. So they were still competitive because Kawhi Leonard was Kawhi Leonard. But anyways, moving on. Pat Riley. He speaks about Pat Riley. She asks this, you, Pop, and Pat Riley are the most decorated coaches of your generation. What separates Riley? Pat has a terrific sense of what he wants to do. Now that I'm president, I had to read all this stuff about the league. Usually it's delete, but I noticed that there was something about Dwayne Wade and Pat's communication breaking down the other day. I wonder about that. I found it surprising. And here's the meat of the coconut right here, as people say. I don't like that saying. The reporter asks this, it all started with LeBron when LeBron left, right? Could you have ever imagined Irvin Johnson, aka Magic, leaving Riley or Michael Jordan leaving you? Phil responds, it had to hurt when they lost LeBron. That was definitely a slap in the face, but there was a lot of little things that came out of that. When LeBron was playing with the Heat, they went to Cleveland, and he wanted to spend the night. They don't do overnights. Teams just don't. So now Eric Spoelstra has to text Riley and say, what do I do in this situation? And Pat, who has an iron fist rules, answers, you're on the plane. You are with this team. You can't hold up the whole team because you and your mom and your posse want to spend an extra night in Cleveland. I always thought Pat had this really nice vibe with his guys, but something happened there when it broke down. I do know LeBron likes special treatment. He likes things his way. So, that was from 2016, an interview with ESPN. And that was the context of Phil Jackson saying LeBron and his posse. Was Phil Jackson lying, people? Was the great coach Phil Jackson lying about LeBron James? Was Pat Riley wrong for what he did? Everybody else got to be on the same frequency, but this guy that we call LeBron James, he want to do things his way. This is 10 years ago when Phil Jackson said that. When he was in Miami, it was almost 15 to 14 years ago now. And it's still the same. Now, we got Rich Paul, part of the Posse, speaking about Phil Jackson's former team and Pat Riley's former coaching team. The Lakers dealing with LeBozo and his minion. And now Austin Reeves ain't playing and hasn't played a single game in this calendar year so far. All because Rich Paul has to run his mouth. Phil Jackson was scrutinized when he said that. I remember. It was scrutinized. Some people saying was even subtle racism going on with that. Nah, bro. This ain't no subtle racism. This was speaking facts. This wasn't no hate. This was speaking facts. Phil Jackson wasn't wrong. I think Phil Jackson deserves an apology. I'll catch you guys in the next one.